Yo, welcome to Underrated Conversations. I'm your host, Ray. Uh, Thank you for everybody that continues to watch, listen, share, like, comment. I appreciate it all. So let's get to it.
Turn the mic up, it's time to dive. Where the stories spark and come alive. Unfiltered thoughts, we keep it real.
Welcome to episode 4 of Underrated Conversations. I'm your host, Ray.
Underrated conversations. Deep talks, no hesitation.
Thank you for all the support. Everybody continue to watch and listen. I appreciate it.
Feel the rhythm, no imitation.
That's why I keep doing this. Y'all, because of y'all. I get excited now. Let's get to it. Welcome to episode 4 of Underrated Conversations. I'm your host, Ray. Thank everybody for continuing to listen, watch, support, like, share, comment, the text messages, the inboxes, all that. I appreciate it. I had a pretty eventful month this month, so I will probably be dropping multiple episodes fairly close together, which is different for me, but I've also learned that it's easier for me just to stack topics and what's going on in my life, and boom, makes the episode so much easier. Thank you to everybody that has been watching. Like I said before, a lot of what I'm doing is not necessarily for everybody. I do it because it's therapeutic to me, and I hope that the things that I say and what I'm talking about will reach out and be a help to at least one person. So somebody out there can see that, some of the things that they're going through, they're not alone. Some of the things that they think about and some of the topics that they go through in their minds, they just don't know how to say, you're not alone. So that's what I'm here for. So let's get to it. Over the last weekend, I was able to go back to my hometown. My mom did something that I thought was pretty dope, actually. She threw what she called a just because celebration of life party. Basically what that was it wasn't a holiday. There was nobody's birthday. There was not an anniversary. There was not a death. There was really no reason, but she did it because so many times, I know my family, and I'm pretty sure there's other families out there that's the same way. So many times we only meet with our family in bad times. A lot of times with my family, the only time that I would see my entire family is when somebody passes away. And my mom did something where she was trying to break that cycle, and I commend her for that. And she did a hell of a job. It was an amazing party. By the time I got there, I was late, and she told me to be there at 5. I didn't get there till 5:30, and I had all the liquor, so y'all know how that go. But by the time I got there, thinking I was gonna show up late and wasn't nobody gonna be on time, packed house, at least 150 people in this hall. At a point in time, she had probably close to 200 people in there, and it was just a huge celebration. I had an amazing time. Everybody I talked to said they had an amazing time, and she did that. And it was actually a good feeling for me because I was able to just sit back and enjoy. Um, she made it so I didn't have to do much. Uh, she made it so everybody didn't have to do much. She did all the leg work. There was a few things that she had people do, like she had my wife do the centerpieces, and um, I was in charge of getting all the liquor for the bar. But that was it. She handled everything else: decorations, food, paid for the liquor, DJ, venue, all that. She just wanted people to show up and celebrate just because, like, not because it's somebody died or because something's going on in life. It was just because. And I think that was an amazing, amazing thing. So that's why I started this episode with that, because Mom, I want to tell you, you did a great job. You did your thing with that. And we should try, not just my family, but people in general. That's something I think that we should adopt and try to do. Some people do it, but a lot of times families don't even meet unless there's like a death. Death brings families together, and we should change that cycle so we can just meet and have a good time without it being a time of sorrow or a sad time. So, Mom, great job. You did your thing. Uh, and I commend you. So, yeah. But also, while I was at home, I was able to, like, I live 9 hours from my hometown. So my kids don't get to see their cousins and family too much. And where I'm currently staying at in Tennessee, it's just me and my small family. So our family isn't here, and our closest family is 45 minutes away, but that's just my cousins and their small family. And then my wife's family, small family, lives 3.5 hours away. Excuse me. But my family doesn't see my entire family too much, and I have a huge family. So it was I'm not going to say emotional, but it was kind of emotional, but it made me feel good to watch my kids be able to play with all their cousins, have a good time, and run around and play and just fellowship. And I don't get to see that too often. It almost made me a little teary eyed, but um, that was big to me. So it kind of made the trip worth it, because that's something I don't get to experience too much. I don't get to experience being around my family all the time. My kids don't get to experience playing with their cousins all the time. So when the times happen that we can do it, I take advantage of it. And being that this time was not in a sad time, it was just a joyous occasion. I loved every minute of that trip. Didn't like to drive because it's a long drive, but I loved every minute of that trip. Like, yeah, that one, that one did it for me. Um, so shout out to Mom, shout out to my family. Hopefully I can see y'all soon. Um, but yeah, I really enjoy that, and I actually needed that. I needed that. It was therapeutic to me just to be around them. Um, a lot of times what happens is we move away from our families. It's not necessarily a bad thing though, because what I'm learning is, in order for me to grow, I had to get out of that situation. And that's just me, because where I'm from is such a small town, but my mind was doing like was thinking bigger than Youngstown. So there was only so much advancement that me and my family could get in my hometown without going somewhere big. A lot of people don't understand that because they've never left their hometown. So they don't really understand, like, there's a bigger world outside of that. So being me, that I've lived outside of my hometown, I've seen the bigger world out of that, and I've moved back to my hometown. And when I moved back, it just didn't feel the same, because I knew in my mind I had a bigger picture, and I knew God had a bigger picture for me, and my life was bigger than Youngstown. Not saying that I can't go back and visit. My mom stays there. My niece and nephews stay there. My aunts and uncles stay there. I have friends that still stay there. But the way that my mind works, and I feel like the way that God has set up my life is bigger than that. And I notice that the way I move and the things I do and how I operate, I can tell that I have a bigger mindset than my small hometown. Nothing against my hometown, but that's just me. That's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. Because I'll say that, and a lot of people might take offense to it. And there's no offense to that. Because at the end of the day, truth be told, there are people that are succeeding in that town. There is places that you can succeed. Just because you're there does not mean you have to have that small town mentality. You can still succeed, make money, and do that and still live there. But I notice a lot of people that I know there, they get trapped. I know so many people that moved out of Youngstown and then got out and moved back and got stuck. I'm one of those people. I left Youngstown as soon as I graduated high school. Went to the service. Got out the service. Did a year in Virginia after I got out and moved back. As soon as I moved back to Youngstown, the struggle was real. It was hard for me to find a job. Uh, I was away from my kids, and it was like a stuck mentality. So I end up getting stuck there. But the whole time I was there, my mind was saying, yo, you got to find a way out. You got to find a way out. You are bigger than this. Not saying nothing against anybody else but you. God has put a favor in your life that's bigger than where you're at. It's up to you to figure out a way, work hard, and get out of here. Grow your family. You were raised here, but now you have started your own family. You started your own lineage. So it's up to you to change that. And by the grace of God, not just me, my prayers were answered in a way that I would have never seen it. My prayers were answered in a way of my job laying me off. I was laid off for a year, hustling, making a way to pay the bills for me and my family, me and my wife hustling. And through that, God opened up a door for me to transfer to another state. And that was my way out. But see, I didn't just take that and use it. I took advantage of it. See, because by me being away from my hometown and my friends and family and all that stuff there, I kind of isolated myself. I didn't know anybody in the places I moved to. It was just me, my kids, and my wife. So we were kind of isolated. So by me being isolated, it gave time and gave me the space for God to let my mind work. I can hear him vividly without distractions of everything else. It was just me and him. Now, once I was gone for a while and got familiar with the area, I found myself slipping down to a slippery slope back into my old ways and losing focus on what God has set for me. But once I gained focus, it was full clarity. Even with my wife, she's always talked about something she's wanted to do with herself. Her dreams, her goals, her aspirations, but she could never quite get over the hump to get into it. Once we moved to Tennessee, my wife was completely isolated. She was not close to anyone, and it was just her and my sons at the house all day. That isolation helped her focus on what her tasks at hand, focus on her goals, focus on her aspirations to where she's at now, where she's broke into the field that she wants to be in. It's a slow and steady race, but God has opened up that door for her. And I'm proud. Even with this podcast, I've always talked about it. But see, when I isolated myself and focused on my goals, that's when the doors opened up and it was clear for me and it was easy for me. It was a lot of work, but it was easy for me to go ahead and take the steps. Like anything that comes easy to you, let me rephrase that because that's not going to come out right. But when you have a goal, a dream, an aspiration, and you start working on it and it comes easy to you, stay focused. It's going to come slow. It might not come then, it might be 10 years from now. But if you stay focused and stay on that path, it'll come. I'm literally watching it happen with my life and my wife's life. It's crazy to sit back and watch it happen and know it's happening and feel it happen. It's a whole different feeling when you're in the process of it happening. It doesn't feel like hard work. It doesn't feel like stress. It doesn't feel like you're tired. It's enjoyable because it's something that you want to do and God is helping you through it, walking you through it. But you have to keep your eye on Him the entire time you're doing it and focus on it. A lot of us can't do that, man. But with time and prayer, I promise you it'll come. I promise you. Um, like I told you guys before, now I'll go off a topic list. So it makes it easier for me. So once I jump into a topic, I can just flow with it. Cause I kind of have things down to how I want them to go. But I was out and I was listening to somebody. They had to be in their like early to mid 30s talking on the phone. And it was kind of seemed like it was kind of like an important conversation. Like they may have been talking to like some sort of business, a bank, a store, somebody. I don't know who they were really talking to, but I was just kind of like, I'm not gonna say ear hustling, but listening from afar. And it dawned on me like they didn't have really good phone etiquette. And it made me think like, at what age should you already have good phone etiquette? Because I feel like as an adult, talking on the phone when you're handling business can make or break a deal or make or break whatever you're trying to do if you don't have phone etiquette. See, they say a lot like, oh, well, um, when my mom used to get on the phone, we say all the time, like, Mom, you sound like a white lady. But now that I'm older, I realize that that's phone etiquette. Because you have to think on the other side of that phone is somebody that you either want to do something for you, or you need their assistance, or they're trying to help you with something. The saying is you catch more flies with honey, correct? So if you're on the phone being rude to this person that's trying to help you, or you sounding like you have no home training or no type of etiquette when you're talking and handling business, what do you think's going to happen? Or how do you think that person on the other end of the phone is going to look at you? See, a lot of times we don't think about over the phone or text messages and all that stuff. And with text messaging, like I'm guilty of it, like because you can't really see somebody's tone in a text message. And I'm guilty of that too. Like some of the stuff I say, it comes off wrong because they take the tone the wrong way. But when it comes to handling business on the phone, I personally feel like there should be some sort of etiquette and some sort of business like tone in your voice, or even a more, I don't want to say proper way of talking, and I don't really want to say educated way of talking, but that's kind of what it is that we should all have when it comes to handling business. Because at the end of the day, if you cannot talk to somebody over the phone in an educated business mind manner, how could you talk to somebody in person when you're trying to handle business? See, it all goes hand in hand. And it took me, I'm 38, it took me almost, I would say 25 years, I think about 25, 26, maybe 27 ish, is when I learned the importance of phone etiquette. And my dad used to tell me that all the time, like, you got to learn how to talk to people. And coming from where I come from, like I never really noticed it until I actually tried to make moves that could better myself in a business sense or in a professional sense. Even when it came to me applying for jobs and talking to job interviews, my phone etiquette and my etiquette showed because even if I'm the way type person I am is I give everybody the benefit of doubt. I'm not going to talk to nobody crazy. I'm not going to give you crazy looks, all that. Unless you cross me the wrong way or you're showing me that you can't conduct business in a business matter. At that point, I'm dead in it all. There's no reason for me to talk to you. Especially if we're talking about business. That's not personal. If we're friends, family, all that, that's cool. But when it comes to talking about business, if we can't talk about business in a business manner and business setting, I mean, at what point do we need to continue this conversation? Because obviously you can't handle business that way. So how can we go into business or do a business deal together? You see what I'm saying? So to me, I think that's very important, but I think it's lacked. I think it was lost over the generations, with social media and all that stuff. Like even now, like I've seen people exchange social media before exchanging numbers. And maybe that's just me being old school, but at the end of the day, that's the way things move now. And I think that takes away a lot from people being able to do a lot of peer to peer communication. It makes it hard for people because you don't have to do it with social media. So this new generation, they don't really have the training and the knowledge on how to do peer to peer conversation when you're in front of somebody. Or they'll say something crazy or talk crazy to you. Then you look at them crazy. They think that you're the crazy one. No, that's not how it works. Like that's completely insane. Um, so I'm sorry, I'm trying to go with this list, and it's kind of throwing me off. All right, something that I learned over my life is I try to motivate people. Like when people tell me there's something they want to do or are actively doing something or they need motivation, I try to motivate people as much as I can. But I'm learning now that you cannot motivate a person if they don't want to motivate themselves. Let me say that again. You cannot motivate a person if they do not want to motivate themselves. A lot of times we waste a lot of energy trying to motivate somebody to do something or better themselves or anything that you think they may need motivation for or they say they need motivation for. But there's no motivation coming from them. And people don't realize how much energy a person can waste trying to motivate somebody that has no motivation in themselves. And our energy is precious. So wasted energy is draining to us. We may not notice it, but it is. We transfer energy to each other. So if I'm taking my motivational energy and transferring it to you and you can't motivate yourself, I just wasted that energy on you. And that's really, 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 really frustrating to me now. Like, I try to maintain a positive energy, and most times I'm not perfect, but I try to maintain positive energy. I try to be positive with people. But if you don't have that motivation within yourself, I'm wasting it. I can't continue to do that. I can use my energy for something that could better me or my family. I can use my energy for something that can better somebody, or give it to somebody that's going to appreciate it. I can give my energy to somebody that's going to give me that motivational energy back. That's what we really want. We really want to be able to motivate somebody. They take your energy and give you some motivation back. A transfer of energy. But see, a lot of people don't realize that there's a sympathy complex. I call it. I'm going to call it, where people want you to feel bad for them for whatever situation or whatever's going on in their life. And if you don't feel bad for them, they look a certain kind of way or look at you a certain kind of way. It's not my job to feel bad for your situation. It's not my job to feel bad for your situation. I need to say that again. Me and other people, we have enough going on in our life where we cannot, or do not have the time to sit and sulk with somebody who doesn't want to help themselves or put themselves in a situation they don't want to help themselves. I'm the type of person that I give people chances. Like I said earlier in this pod, I try to help people as much as I can. It may not be financial. It may not be with uh I'll just leave it at financial. It may not be financial, but if I got it and can help you, I'm going to try to help you. But you have to want to help yourself. Once I give you the means to help you or trying to help you, my whole thing at that point is do it. You feel me? Do it. And I love when somebody does it. Like that's the biggest. I love that shit. Like, that's inspiring to me. Like, at the end of the day, I struggle with things. Like, my life isn't perfect. I'm not in a situation where I'm just ahead and better than anybody. No, I don't have it all. I don't have a bunch of money. I don't have a bunch of assets. I don't have a bunch of stuff. But I do have time. I do have patience. And I do have a listening ear. I do have, I can help you with resources. I have that. Trust me, if I had it financially to help people that need it, trust me, I would. But see, a lot of people look at that as, oh, you can't help me financially? That's not help. No, sometimes the words that people say to you can help. Because, see, at the end of the day, you never know who God's talking to in your life to talk to you, if that makes sense. Sometimes God will give somebody a word to tell you, and you have to listen to it. But at the end of the day, us as humans, we don't see it that way. We don't want to be talked at. We don't want to be dictated to. Not even being dictated to, for real, for real. It might be the word coming to you from somebody else. And that's something I had to learn. Like, people would talk to me like, and I would feel like people were talking at me, or, oh my God, like, I'm tired of this shit. You know what I'm saying? But it was really them trying to talk to me and give me advice. And it may not even be coming from them. Some of the stuff that I heard from people that I didn't expect to hear from that person, I knew right then and there it was God talking through that person to me, because they knew that I would listen to that person, and that's the way they would get it to me. It's crazy how you look back at things and you start to see it for what it really is, you know? I'm not even like, I don't have no set order. I'm kind of just jumping off of my list here and going, but I feel like this is the one, you know? Like this isn't, I feel like this isn't just me right now. I feel like this is like, I'm being talked through. I feel like everything I'm saying right now is for somebody. I feel like right now God is using my voice to talk to somebody. And this is my 4th episode, and I swear to you, I've never felt like this before. Even starting this episode, I said to myself, I was like, something about this one feels different. And it does. And I like it. Every minute of it. I feel therapeutic with this one. Really therapeutic. Let's get that. Let's get that one out of here. Bam. We can get that one out of here. Bam. We're making some progress today, people. This one is going to be, I feel like this one's going to ruffle some feathers. But it has to be talked about. I got to take a deep breath. A lot of times, God blesses people through other people. Does that probably doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to explain. A lot of time, God blesses people through other people. Let me explain. Sometimes God will put you in a situation. You will pray about that situation, and the answer will come from another person. God will answer your prayer through another person helping you to get to that issue, get to that, whatever you're working towards. And as you're supposed to do, and as we're all supposed to do, when we get to our goal or whatever we prayed for is delivered to us, we thank God, which we're supposed to do. But sometimes we forget that humans need to feel thankfulness as well. So you will forget, no matter how much hard work this person has done to get you to your blessing, it makes them feel like they're used. That is not saying that you're supposed to thank that person before you thank God. Yes, you're doing it right by thanking God for blessing you, but at the same time, you should probably think about thanking that person as well. Because see, what will happen is people will forget that what you prayed for, God answered for you through this person, and then you'll forget that, and you'll continue to try to use that person to get to where you're at and still don't give them thanks for what they've done for you. Like I said, I know this one gonna ruffle some feathers because the people are gonna say, well, why should I thank the person if God brought it to my doorstep And I've been praying for it, and I'm thanking him. Yes, you should thank God for it. Or every blessing that God gives you, you should pray, give thanks, everything. But at the same time, if someone helps you with something, you should also thank them as well. I'm guilty of it too. I'm not even going to sit here and act like I'm not guilty of it. I do the same stuff. I will pray about something to God. God will answer my prayers, but he will answer my prayers through a person that had to do a bunch of hard work for me to answer my prayers. And I'll thank God and just forget about the person. But see, what we fail to realize is you might need that person again at some point in life. God will answer your prayer again. But this time, it might not be as easy for you. He might make you work a little harder. You see what I'm getting at here? God's going to still answer that prayer for you. But if you burn your bridges, God might not replace that bridge for you. He might put that burden on you. That's why it's essential to have kindness to everybody. I'm learning that too, because like there's motherfuckers out there that crossed me now that I said, oh, I'm never going to talk to or all that. But I'm learning that I can't be like that. Because at the end of the day, one of my enemies might be the one that helped me. I have a story about that. There was an incident that happened at my job. Long story short, there was a guy who would say like little slick stuff to somebody I work with, and the other guy that he was saying it to was starting to recognize it. Like, yo, I don't really mess with XYZ because he always got some slick stuff to say to me, and I don't really rock with that. And I told that man, I said, listen, you ain't gotta kiss his ass or do that. I said, see, God has a funny way of working. I said, because you don't gotta be mean to him. Just be nice, come to work, do your job, speak, no ill feelings, nothing. I said, but God has a way of making things make sense, if that makes sense. Like I always say, I'm not a preacher. I don't know the Bible back and forth, but I know I love the Lord, and I can talk about some things that I know that I've seen God do for me and other people. I can do that. So I would tell him like, yo, don't worry about it. Like, I'm telling you, God's going to show him. But you have to be right about it. You can't approach him being smart, running your mouth, arguing, all that. You can't do that. Just wait for God's timing. Well, it took almost a year, but God definitely showed up. That same guy that would say like the little slick, smart stuff to the other guy, end up having some sort of medical emergency at work where he needed the assistance of somebody. If nobody was there, it could have been bad. This guy could have potentially lost his life. There was one person around that was there to save this dude's life. And it was the dude that he was saying all the slick shit and little witty smart stuff to. Bam. God. And that man put all that to the side and made sure the dude was safe, got the medical attention he need, helped him everything. And after I told him, I said, hey, didn't I tell you? I said, you ain't have to do nothing. I said, God was going to show him. God was going to show him that you just can't treat and talk to people any kind of way because you never know who you going to need. You never know who you going to need, man. And I can say that in my life, there's been times where I was like not on the outs of people. I told a story on my last podcast about how I was on the outs with a person, and I didn't think I would ever need that person, but I did, and they showed up. You never know. That's why you got to treat people with kindness and respect. You have to. But I'm pretty sure if that man is a religious man, I'm pretty sure that he thanked God for saving his life. But you know what? He never thanked the guy who God put there to save his life. Crazy, right? It's not obligated for him to thank the guy, but just out of general human kindness. If somebody saves your life and you still have to see them on a day in and day basis, I mean, I would say thank you. I had an issue in my life. I still haven't talked about it where by the grace of God, I can remember two people, two who were there, just happened to be there. One was a paramedic and she was off duty and just happened to be at the spot that I was at. Bam. Then when I got to the hospital, the nurse I had that night, I still think she was my an angel because I never seen her again. I thanked that lady a million times that night. I thanked God for sparing me. I thanked God for putting the people around me to help me. I thank God for me being in a spot where there were people, or God putting people around me that can help me when I needed them. And to this day, I want to thank those people. Like I feel like a piece of me is not whole until I can thank those people, even though I know I probably will never see them again. But if I do, I remember those faces because God put them there for me and they deserve a thank you from me. It's just proper human etiquette, I say. Like some people need to hear that. Some people don't, but some people do. And I never know who needs to hear it and who don't. So when I don't know who needs to hear it and who don't, what's the best way to do it? Say it to everybody. I've learned over the years I'm not too tough to say thank you, to say I appreciate you, to give a hug. I've grown into that. It's a tough thing for people to do. Thanking God is always enough. Always, always, always enough. I don't want people to misconstrue that. But also, human nature should be to thank a person too. So, sorry. I've been in a relationship for with the same girl for 13 years, off and on for the first like two. We done been through everything, moves, infidelity from me, um, arguments, kids, uh, loss of parents, loss of loved ones. Um, we've been through a lot. And I could honestly say that my wife, how do I say this? It's not nothing bad. None of the bad, sweetheart. My wife is very, very hands on and dives deep into things that she wants to get into. And that's a beautiful trait to have. But when it comes to what I had to learn was when I'm trying to help my wife with something, it's my delivery a lot of times. Um, I'm a real hard motivator. Like I'm the type of person that when I'm trying, you want me to motivate you to do something, or you want my help, I'm gonna push you to get to where you want to be. It may not come off nice. It may not come off as sweet, but I'm giving you that push you need. But I had to learn that you have to be able to judge and look at people to see how they need the motivation from you. You can't be tough on everybody. You can't. And I'm learning that. But what I have learned over the years is when it comes to men and women, sometimes women don't understand that your partner or your man or your male friend, your male best friend, or whoever, your dad, your uncle, your grandfather, whoever, they are not trying to hurt you when they're trying to help you do something. It's just a manly delivery sometimes. You have to remember that we are men. And sometimes it's not easy for a man to get in touch with his sensitive side when it comes to engaging with women. Because sometimes in this world, when a man becomes in touch with his soft side to help a woman, they begin to be called soft. That's not right at all, but it's the world we live in. So women, not all women, I don't want to think you think I'm out here bashing women and all that stuff. Some women just don't realize that men are really trying to help. And we may not even come at you in a attitude way or a smart way. It's just that that's how us as men deliver information, especially alpha males or dominant men. It's not necessarily there to hurt you, or we're not trying to hurt you or be mean. It's just how we deliver. And sometimes from the outside looking in, we can see what you need and the type of delivery you need to get to the goal you're trying to get to, or to help you with you're trying to help you with. Because if for the last 20 years everybody that approached you have given you this soft approach or polite approach, and it hasn't worked, you haven't succeeded, or it hasn't been motivated, or whatever you want the motivation for has not happened, or it hasn't been working for you, that's probably not the approach you need. You probably need a little tougher approach. I'm not saying a militant approach, but you might need a little tougher love. You might need somebody to tell you, hey, you should be doing this, rather than asking you, should you do this? Because asking you, it may not get done. So somebody telling you, hey, this should be your next step. It's not them trying to be mean. It's not them trying to hurt your feelings. It's not them trying to take over your project. It's not any of that. It's because they may see what you need to motivate you to get you to that next step. Being polite and dealing with softness and all that may not have worked for you. So maybe you, and this goes for men and women. I'm taking the gender out of it. This goes for men and women. Sometimes that soft approach ain't gonna get it. It's not. You need that tough love, and it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna suck, and you're gonna be mad, and you might even be like, oh, I don't want to deal with this motherfucker no more. But if they stay on you and stay on you and stay on you, take it as, okay, they're motivating, they're pushing me, I need to go ahead and do this. You might get to that goal that you're waiting on, bro. I'm telling you, man. Like for me, even to get to this point, everybody that talked to me about it was, oh, they were just nice and all that. It took somebody to tell me, yo, do that shit. I don't care if it sounds like shit. I don't care if you look like shit. Do it. Because at some point, you're going to get good at that shit. At some point, somebody going to see that shit. At some point, it's going to work. Just do the work. Once I was able to take the tough love, take the tough criticism, all that stuff, I started to see that this shit comes easy to me, man. This comes easy to me. This episode 4. The first 3 was kind of rocky for me. I was nervous, but this one, when I sat in this chair, I felt it like, yes, you could do this. This is the one. I'm telling you, man. I said it before, God don't make no mistakes, man. He don't. And God ain't gonna sugarcoat and put everything right in front of you. Sometimes you gotta dig through the weeds to see the light. Sometimes it might be raining where you at, but to see the sunshine, you gotta keep moving. You gonna get wet. You don't always have an umbrella. But what you gonna do? If you ain't got the umbrella to keep you dry to finish this task, you gonna stop? Nah, you might have a time limit. Nah, you gotta get out there and get wet, get dirty, do the work. God ain't gonna put it all out there for you. He ain't. Like right now, I'm trying to study more and more into this stock and investment thing and AI. But to see me mentally, I think or I thought, hey, I can just jump into this shit, watch a couple videos, and I got it. No, I have to put in the work. I have to. And it took hard, tough motivation from people for me to get to this point. For me to get dirty and get down and dirty and sit. Like I told y'all before, where I record my podcast at, yes, it's hot, but I don't care. I got to put in this work. God ain't gonna hand me this, especially in this type of space. There's millions, millions, and millions of people that's doing what I'm doing right now. And they never get seen. And they never get seen. I don't think y'all understand that. They never get seen. See, I know what I'm doing, it's gonna reach somebody. I know what I'm doing. Somebody gonna watch this and they gonna feel it. I'm able to navigate in this space and talk about life things and put a religious aspect on it and make it make sense and make it relatable to people who don't really mess with church and God and all that stuff. I'm talking about God and what he's done in my life, what he can do in your life, and things that are happening on a daily basis in my life. And I'll give you an examples on how God has helped me through it. And like I told y'all before, I don't write nothing down. I write topics down. All I do is write the topics down. I come in here, I talk, and I let God just flow through me. Flow through me. I had a couple months ago, I went to back to Indiana. Met with some of my homeboys. We went out and I learned something. See, when we went out in three different aspects. Me, married. My other homeboy, engaged. My other homeboy, single. At that moment, that's when I learned that there are some situations that, as a married man, probably shouldn't be in. There are some places and some situations as married men we shouldn't be in. Not saying you can't go out and kick it with your homeboys. Not saying you can't go out and have a good time without your spouse. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you can assess the situation before you put yourself into it and can tell if that's a situation you should be in or not. And I learned at that moment, nothing against my homeboys, love my niggas to death. But I am not that same nigga. The whole time I was rather just had been at the crib. It was cool kicking it with them, but I just was like, I want to go home. And it was like 11:30. See, because at the end of the day, if I didn't assess what was going on around me, I could have put myself in a bad situation. I could have put myself and reverted back to situations that got me in trouble in my relationships. I could have reverted to a point where I was doing some infidelity type stuff. But I knew in my mind, nah, nigga, this ain't where you're supposed to be. You better start judging and looking at your situation a little bit better. And that's maturity. That's maturity in my relationship at that. To even be able to assess that. To even be able to have that thought in my mind when it comes to that. That's my growth. And it took for that night or those nights for me to realize that. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. Man, I've been going for like an hour. Like, this is crazy. And I still got stuff I want to talk about. You ever notice how people, how, how do I say this? How designer labels and poverty relate? Yeah. Because a lot of times what will happen is we are too busy trying to wear the latest fashions or the latest labels and all that stuff. And we don't live like we should be having that. Me, I got a few designer things, but not too much. And I bought those before I had this reality check within myself. See, I should not be wearing Louis Vuitton. I should not be wearing Gucci. I should not be wearing Amiri. I should not be wearing Prada. And my lifestyle doesn't match that. Some of the prices of those things is the price of my rent. The two coincide because if it costs as much as my rent and I'm still renting, that means I should not be buying it. I should be focused on trying to buy a house, some property, or something like that. I don't want to look like somebody I'm not. I don't even wear jewelry. I wear this same chain every day and my wedding ring. It's pretty much it. My wife always says, and I go, "Oh, you need to put some earrings in." I don't even put them in because I feel like my life is not to that point where I should be looking like I'm just out here like that. And I'm not. When I went to my mom's party, I couldn't find a shirt. I was going back and forth. Like I wanted to wear these shoes, and I was like, I don't have a shirt. I don't have a shirt. I called my homeboy Mike. He makes clothes, Pure Money clothing brand. You might see me in his shirts and sweatsuits and stuff like that. And I bought a shirt from him. Wore it. Got mad compliments on it. See, because I realized that I want to start supporting the people that who support me. Not necessarily friends, family, like that. Black community. I just told my cousin, hey, I think I'm going to start trying to just shop and specifically buy black owned clothes. As much as I can. I'm 6'6", so it's not going to be easy, but as much as I can. Why? Because why should I give my money to Louis Vuitton and I'm never going to see it work for me or my community? But if I give it to Mike, who runs Pure Money, I'm helping support his business and watching his business grow. My little $2,000-$3,000 I get at Louis Vuitton ain't gonna put a dent in them. They ain't gonna care. They ain't gonna do shit for me. But see, by me supporting my homeboy Mike, I know it's helping him grow. I know at the end of the day that, hey, thanks for the support, my guy. Whatever I got going on, he gonna watch this podcast every single time because the support is mutual. Louis Vuitton ain't about to tune in. Louis Vuitton ain't about to tune in. But I know Mike is. Could we support each other? And that's where my mind is at now. My mind is no longer at the point of I want to impress people. I want to support people if I can. Like I said, it might not even be financial. I want to support people if I can. I want to watch you grow. I want to help you grow. Like I love watching like small businesses and then watch them just scale, 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 scale. Even with social media, like there's people I followed on social media that was like nothing a year or two ago. And I just slowly watched them scale, 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 scale. And that was from the support. That support may not have came from a big company or a big label. It came from us. It came from us, man. And we need to continue doing that. God put a lot on my heart, man. He puts a lot on my heart. And I never really understood why things in my life seem so hard and so difficult, and it's always like I'm clawing from the bottom to get up. It always feels like that. But every single time I get discouraged or I feel like that all my hard work is going in vain, God gives me like this little glimmer of what my life is going to be like and can be like if I just follow the path that He put me on and follow His word and continue to do the work. I'm not afraid to do the work. See, before, I didn't understand that God was talking to me. And when He was, I wouldn't understand what He was saying. But now I kind of got a vivid picture of what He's doing. I've been called the strong friend a long time. And for the longest, I would be like, hey, I don't want to be the strong friend. I don't want to be the strong cousin. I don't want to be the strong friend. But then it realized me, God is making me Teflon. God is making me go through things to build me into an indestructible human being under Him who can help everybody around me who needs it. It's going to take some hurt. It's going to take some crying. It's going to take some rough nights. It's going to take some pain. It's going to take some body aches. But at the end of the day, I know for a fact why God is doing this now. And it's teaching me lessons. Because see, at points in time, I go back to doing the old things that I used to do, doing the old things that were keeping me in trouble, doing the old things that are keeping me in financial trouble, doing the old things that make me disalign with Him. And every time I do, He kicks me. And I have to claw back up. It's not really hard, but it's frustrating to claw back up. And that's God saying, see, you went off track. You went off track. You went off path. You wasn't listening to me. You wasn't making eye contact with me while you was doing this. You decided to do your own thing. Now I'm going to make you work harder to get back to where you was. So you'll appreciate where I brought you before. Man. And it took me years to realize that. It took me years to realize that if I just focus, I don't have to be the perfect Christian. I don't have to be the perfect man or human under God. I don't have to be that. I just have to know that I keep Him here, keep Him straight in my line of view and follow Him, follow His task. If it takes me, I can't swim. If it takes me to the depths of the ocean, I have to trust God that He's going to get me out of there to get me to my goal. And I'm glad that I've realized that I don't have to be perfect. I used to battle with myself so much like, damn, am I going to go to heaven? Does God love me? Like, I'm not really living right. I'm not I'm not your perfect Christian. I couldn't be a deacon at a church. Like, I don't even like church. Like, I don't I always say I don't like going to church, but I like the religion and spirituality. I just think some churches, this is going to be controversial too. Some churches are kind of sketchy to me. And now it's hard to dictate who's really trying to teach you the word and who's trying to get monetary gain or who's trying to have a huge congregation, who's trying to be the best and biggest church on the block instead of preaching the word to you. Some of the best words I got when I go to churches came from the smallest churches. I kid you not. Some of the best sermons and lessons I got from people have been in a small setting. And once I realized I don't have to go to church every Sunday, I don't. God gonna do what God gonna teach me his word and do what he gotta do with me without me being there. You know how many people leave the club on Saturday, go to the church on Sunday? Before they get out of church, they done took a drink before work, before church, right after church, went and drank, going to the bar, smoking, all that shit. And they go to church every Sunday. So why should I feel a certain kind of way because I don't go to church? When there's people that go to church that's worse off than me. God gave me this voice. God gave me this platform. And I talk about a lot of shit. I talk about a lot of stuff, but I always gonna preach and give God the glory for everything. A lot of people don't even know that I'm that in tune with my God. Like a lot of them don't even know that. But God does. Even when I sit and talk to people, and people ask me for advice and I talk to them and I start talking, it's like he just fills my lungs with the words to say. And it's him just flowing. And I love every minute of it. I do. Man. Well, I'm not going to hold y'all any longer. This has been my longest episode so far. But I feel like this is the one for me. I was able to get off so much stuff. And I feel like I was able to talk to so many people. Man. But I'm not going to hold y'all. Like I said, I got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about, but I don't want to make this a long podcast. So I want to thank everybody for listening to Underrated Conversations. Like, share, comment if you want to. If I can reach one person, all it takes is one to keep me going. That's it. I do this for one person because I know one person needs to hear this. One. There's billions of people in the world, but one person needs to hear this. And I hope that it changes their life. I hope that something that I said will click to somebody and it's what they needed to hear to move on. This podcast is going to save somebody's life. I'm not saying it may, I'm saying it's going to. Because there's somebody out there that didn't know that I'm going through the same thing they're going through in one aspect or another. And people need that. I needed that. I didn't realize how many people were going through the same shit I was going through until I started doing this. And that's my motivation. People that listen to it can talk to me for hours on end and talk to me and know that, yo, Ray, I need to hear that. Yo, I didn't know you were, and I wasn't the only one going through that. Yeah. These are people that's close to me. So I'm going to continue to do this. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to continue to do this as long as God speaks it through me. If God tells me tonight, yo, Ray, that's it. Stop it. Do something else. I'm going to stop. But I don't think God's going to tell me that. This is too powerful. It's too big. It's small, but it's too big. I can reach too many people. God's not going to tell me to stop. I love y'all, man. I appreciate you for listening again. Thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of Underrated Conversations. I'm your host, Ray.
Turn the mic up, it's time to dive. Where the stories spark and come alive. Unfiltered thoughts, we keep it real. Underrated vibes, we bound to